updates. Now on the G7 summit, Canada has invited Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to the upcoming G7 Leaders Summit in Alberta. Canada's invitation marks the third time in the recent days that Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and his government has reached out to the leaders of various countries whose relationships with Canada have been strained in the previous months. Leaders from the world's largest economies are set to gather in fact, for the 3 days of talks that begin Sunday. It is common practice for the host countries to invite the other world leaders to the annual summit to discuss the pressing global issues. The summit of the group of 7 countries is scheduled to be held in Alberta in Canada from 15th to 17th June. The invited countries include India, Australia, Mexico, Brazil, South Africa, Ukraine, and now Saudi Arabia. Aditya Vadawan is joining me live with more updates. Aditya, now as far as the latest series of inviting the countries from Canada for G7 is concerned, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince is the latest one. Is it confirmed if the Prince of Saudi Arabia has accepted the invitation so far or not?
Well, Simran, if you see, this invite has been officially sent by Canada to the Royal Crown Prince of the Saudi. Now, this is it is expected that on the invite of invite from a foreign country, for attending the global G7 summit, it is very likely that the Saudi Prince, Crown Prince, will accept this invite. However, officially so far he hasn't given any confirmation, but we can expect this confirmation to come in the days to come. At this juncture, it is essential that Canada is following this multi-nation policy. As many nations have been given the invite, to attend the G7 summit in Canada. So, it is likely that the Saudi Crown Prince will accept this invite, and it needs to be seen from here on, what will be the agenda this year at the G7 meeting when it will take place at Canada. There are many global issues which are going on currently in the global geopolitics, and it needs to be seen how Canada, conducts this G7 summit. Yes, Simran.
Well, all right, Aditya, thank you very much for sharing the latest details. Meanwhile, sources have stated that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is also set to attend the G7 summit, will likely have a stopover in Cyprus while en route to Canada. Cyprus is being strongly considered as a refueling stopover, citing the top officials. PM Modi is also going to hold bilateral discussions with the top leaderships of the country during the very brief stay. It is one of the first countries to condemn the April 22nd attack in Pahalgam in India and has promised to raise the issue within the EU discussions. The country has also backed India's bid for a permanent seat on the UN Security Council and other international platforms. All right, Aditya Vadawan is joining me live on the broadcast with more updates. Aditya, as what we are learning right now is before hitting to the G7 summit in Alberta, now Prime Minister Narendra Modi is likely to put a stopover at Cyprus, and this is in fact very strategic for India's positioning as far as anti-terror measures are being spread all across the world, with India's stand and resolve being as clear as it can be over the terrorist forces making their way on the India's sovereignty.
Well, absolutely, it is indeed a very strategic step, taken by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because Cyprus is very close to Turkey, and there are differences between Turkey and Cyprus. If you see, in the recent past, we have seen how Turkey supported Pakistan. Even when Turkey was well informed that that there was involvement of the Pakistani terrorists in the cowardly terror attack in Pahalgam. So at this juncture, India will definitely support Cyprus, because Cyprus is at loggerhead with Turkey, and it will be an effective axis effective Indo-Cyprus axis to counter Turkey. So at this juncture, it is very essential, to forge a strategic relationships and mutually beneficial relationships with like-minded countries like Cyprus. Simran.
Well, absolutely. In fact, Aditya, at this point of time, this is the latest that we are learning going forward with the breaking developments that have emerged